将不足为虑。
万死接收，长力吹风，
何在？我能躲。前阵冠军。
Hey guys, welcome to another Where Words Meet video. This time, the guide for Heng Blade. So, Heng Blade will be releasing in less than a week from the time of this posting of this video. And then I will tell you everything I know about playing Heng Blade. Just a disclaimer, since this guide is made in the CN server, if you notice any discrepancies in the global build, it means that there might be some adjustments in the meta that hasn't reached CN's build yet. So just something to take note of and pay attention to, and just adjust accordingly to the changes. So Heng Blade, Snow Parting Blade, this will be a DPS class. A lot of people have been asking if it's a tank or DPS. It's a DPS class under Stone Split attribute. So they are sharing the same family as Tang. Heng Blade is a weapon of its own, different from Sword, so you have to farm Heng Blade, and it uses Mo Blade for the second weapon. And then for the armor and the weapon set, this will come as the new recommended set once it arrives, so don't have to worry about that. When you farm your set, just go for the recommended set. Not sure what it's called in global yet. So for the Heng Blade weapon set, I will primarily go through two popular builds for it, namely the pure Heng Blade build and the pure Mo Blade build. So they have their own different interways, but the gears are mostly the same. I'll go through them right now. And then after that, I'll go through the rotations and input. I know this image that I cooked up can be quite intimidating, but don't worry, I'll go through all of them one by one. So this is the Heng Blade and Mo Blade cheat sheet. First things first, for the armor and weapon set, I don't know what it's gonna be called in global, but it's gonna be a new set that gets introduced at the same time as when Heng Blade is released, and you will just go for that set. Basically, the in-game recommended set is the go-to set for your Heng Blade and Mo Blade, whichever build you're going for. Now, as you can see on the top over here, next time at level 91 onwards, you can craft a bow and ring, and they will come with their own two-set effect. And the two-set effect will give you either a boost in crit rate or precision or affinity. So in this case, since Heng Blade and Mo Blade are precision and crit weapon, you go for the stat that you're lacking in, usually crit rate. We'll talk about that later. Now down here, after armor and weapon set, we're looking at weapons, disc, and pendant main stat. So that's the top initial stat. We're gonna go for max physical. And then the best substat for the weapons would obviously be the weapon damage boost. So if you're maining Heng Blade, obviously try to get Art of Heng Blade damage boost. That is a huge factor in increasing your DPS. And then similarly, if you're going for Mo Blade build, also try to get Art of Mo Blade on your Mo Blade. And then for the bottom left two gear, disc and pendant, the best substats for it would be all martial skill damage boost. Now moving on to the next line, for the armor main stat, So armor, you go for either crit rate or precision. Usually crit rate to keep pushing for your total crit rate. And this is the one you want to look at. The target stat that you want is the yellow digits on your character's stat screen. Like you see on the example over here. The yellow digit is the one that you want because yellow is the real effective crit rate and precision you're getting scaled to your level against enemies, your level. So try to go as much precision as you can, as close to 100% as you can. And then for crit rate, you want to go for at least 75% and above. That's how you decide your crit rate or precision main stats on your armor. And the next thing, Greaves and Bracer top substat. This is the best substat you can get in your entire build that determines a large factor in your DPS, which is damage boost versus boss unit. This is a relatively rare substat to get, and it's really good. It's really, really good. Basically, if you can roll both damage boosts on your Greave and Bracer, it's a huge damage increase for your whole DPS. Now, for a weapon, if you're maining Heng Blade, then the attunement that you're looking for would be something like this. This is roughly translated from CN. It's called Heng Blade, Light and Heavy, Charge Varied Combo Damage Boost. It's a mouthful, and it's also really long in CN. And then for Moblade, if you're maining Moblade, it's going to be Moblade Charge Damage Boost. So these are the specific substats that you should look out for that will greatly improve your build. And now the next thing would be target generic substats. So these are the generic substats. The next best thing would be max physical, obviously. Max physical, power, and agility, followed by min physical, min max stone split, and momentum. You really want agility if you're maining Moblade because Moblade scales from agility. More agility would give Moblade more crit rate. And if you're using Heng Blade, then agility is not too important. It's nice to have, but you don't have to max it too much because agility only increases the minimum physical attack for Heng Blade. Now, going down again for Inner Way. For Heng Blade Inner Way, you will be using Heng Blade's own yellow Inner Way, followed by its own purple Inner Way, this bowl with water. And then for the generic ones, you will be using Morale Chan as usual and Invigorated Warrior. You can also switch out Invigorated Warrior for Breaking Point. Breaking Point is good against bosses, especially when they're staggered, when they have no more chi. You will deal more crit damage and also have more physical penetration. Similarly, for Moblade, if you're going to main Moblade build, then we will not be using the Heng Blade's yellow Inner Way. We will be using Moblade's own purple Inner Way, and followed by Morale Chan, followed by Invigorated Warrior. And we will be borrowing Adaptive Steel from the Nameless Inner Way. Adaptive Steel gives 20% more crit damage from charge attacks. And then same thing, you can also switch out Invigorated Warrior for Breaking Army for 5-man and 10-man raids. Now, for Mystic Skill will only rely on 3, effectively 2 of the 3. First one will always be Flute. We will always be using Flute at our opener and also whenever we have a new rotation. Followed by either Soaring Spin or Leaping Frog. Soaring Spin and Leaping Frog will be our filler Mystic Skill during our combo. And that's it for the stats to look out for. You can just screenshot this for your reference. Now let's move on to the rotations. So for your reference, this is what the level 91 thumb ring and bow requires for crafting. Just take note of it if it's the same as CN. If it's not, then GG. Now, with all the stats talking out of the way, let's talk about the martial art itself, Heng Blade itself. So as you know, Heng Blade goes with Moblade, its very own Moblade. And I will go through with Heng Blade's skill first. So the first skill, the Q skill, this is the martial arts skill. And then the second skill, which is the special skill. Like so. So I would just call this skill 1 and skill 2 for better understanding. And then the weapon switch attack, which is the tap skill. Like that. Okay. So now you know skill 1, skill 2, and weapon switch skill. And now we're going to assume that all of your inner ways are level 6. You can read the details on your own when it releases on what the breakthrough level mean. But Heng Blade requires a minimum breakthrough level of 3 for it to be playable, and ideally 6. So we're just going to assume everything is 6 over here. Now, how to play Heng Blade. First of all, Heng Blade basic combo looks like this. You won't ever use this much in PvE. And then it also has a heavy attack combo. Same thing. You won't use this much. What you want to use a lot would be light charge attack. So you press and hold basic attack. Left click on your mouse. Light charge attack. And you see how a prompt appears. That is the varied combo attack. I believe it's called varied combo in global since it has the same translation as the Tang Mo Blade third hit charge attack hit. And one more thing that you need to know is that with Heng Blade, there is actually a counter attack after a deflect. So when I deflect this and press basic, It's a 2-hit counter. So this is actually very weak. You don't really use it. What you want to use is Varied Combo. So Varied Combo can also be activated after a successful deflect, as you can see it on the prompt on the screen. You can only get this when you've equipped the Golden Innerway for Heng Blade. So after you deflect with Heng Blade, you can trigger Varied Attack. And this Varied Combo has an internal cooldown of 2 seconds. So just in case somebody is attacking you non-stop, it's not like you can always counter with a Varied Combo all the way. There's always going to be a 2 seconds internal cooldown. So something to take note of. And apart from activating a Varied Combo from deflecting, when you have level 3 Inner Way for Heng Blade, you can activate Varied Combo from doing light combo attack, light charge attack. So we'll just call it VC. So skill 1, skill 2, VC, light charge attack. So light charge attack, and then VC. Now, there's a good habit to have. Whenever you proc VC, it says on the screen to press F to activate it. You can press F, or you can press heavy attack. So whichever key you map heavy attack to, in which case I have the default key binds. My heavy attack is the R key. So you press R key, and you can still proc it. And it's good to have this as a habit and not press F for your Varied Combo every time. For 2 reasons. Number 1, you might unintentionally execute the boss prematurely. Like, instead of going for another Varied Combo, you go and you press F and then you execute the boss. Number 2, F is also the interact button whenever you want to pick up items and also interact with like a raid mechanisms. So I'll go through more on that later. Now you just need to know that light charge attack gives you Varied Combo. Like that. And this is your main source of DPS. So Heng Dao skill 1 is a gap closer sweeping skill. You can press it once. And if there's no target, you can press it one more time. And then the third hit will be a spin. Like that. That's all you need to know for now. Second skill, this big slash attack. It's gonna give yourself a buff called Hot-Blooded. Something like Hot-Blooded buff. You see over here? 4 stacks of this buff. Now, whenever you have this buff on, it's gonna change the final hit of your first skill. So let me show you. I will slide. See how it's a stab now? So this stab applies a huge debuff on bosses. It's gonna apply all resist down debuff and making you deal more damage. So you want that stab to hit bosses. So theoretically, what you should do is use the second skill and then use the first skill and stab them. See how this stab applies a debuff on them? So it just says here that all resist is down by 8%. And then they take 8% more HP damage for 12 seconds. So that's how Heng Blade's first and second skill works together. Now with that said, you can also switch it up by doing first skill, second skill, and then first skill again. Let me show you. First skill, second skill. See how it changes? And then first skill again. So this is to make full use of buff windows by staggering them. This is useful to know when it comes to the rotation guide later on. And now the other thing is that you know that light charge attack leads to VC. Light charge attack. You see how there's a VC? You can chain this up even more. You can stagger this even more with all the other skills. Something like first skill, light charge attack, second skill, VC, first skill. Something like this. So this makes full use of all the buff and debuff windows. Now, at Inner Way 6, it's going to allow your light charge attack to hit more often, every 5 seconds or so. Let me show you. Notice how whenever I do light charge attack, there's a bit of a casting. Like at the beginning, it's like ching, and then swipes, and then you slash. And then if I do it again, see how there's no more charging? And then I get a debuff that locks me out again, this yellow debuff. So I'll demonstrate again. Charge. Okay, slash. So I get this buff that lets my next one be no charge. And then I can do it again. So let me show you again. Charge. Slash. I get the buff. Do it again. No charge. And then I get this debuff over here. 5 to 6 seconds. So what this means is that you get 2 sets of VC slashes. And then you get a delay in between. So like this. VC. No charge. VC. Charge. VC. Charge. VC. No charge. VC. Charge. VC. charge, VC, no charge, VC. That's how it goes. Just watch the bar below. So this will go with your rotations a lot. So that's pretty much it for Heng Dao's moves. Now we'll go to Mo Blade. Mo Blade has two skills. Number one, the first skill is a dash. You press it once, you go into a dash. After 3 seconds, you go even faster and it drains your stamina. And then you get a shield at the end of it and you press first skill again to activate. So this will do even more damage and you also get a tiny little shield. But realistically speaking, you're not going to use that a lot. What you're going to do is you're going to tap it and tap it immediately right away to activate it. So just tap Q twice. Like that for free damage. And then now for second skill is a buff that benefits both the Mo Blade and the Heng Blade. So just press second skill. Like so. And then you get a 30 seconds buff as of CN's build. And what this buff does is that it makes you deal 8% more HP damage. And it gives you Phantom Soldiers. You get like unsee soldiers in your attacks. In your Mo Blade attack. Like that. Or in your Heng Blade's attack. Heng Blade's light charge attack. And then varied combo. Whenever I do varied combo, I get soldiers. Like that. I also get soldiers whenever I do the big stab attack. So second skill, first skill, and then the stab. I also get soldiers. Like so. So it's basically just bonus damage to everything. Always keep this buff on at all times. Just look at the banner buff down here. Just watch this banner buff. Always keep it up at all times. It's basically damage boost. Alright, now let's talk about the rotation guide for Heng Blade. You have to understand that this is a build from CN server. There might be some small changes in global build when it's out. Anyway, it's still a good foundation to build on by looking at this rotation. So let me show you. First things first, you always start with flute. Again, you can follow the on-screen input to try and practice it yourself. So always start with Mo Blade, play the flute, parry cancel, buff, double tap first skill, weapon switch, first skill, VC, light charge, second skill, VC again, first skill. Okay? That will always be your combo whenever you repeat your rotation. Now let me show you the rest of the rotation. Okay? Flute, parry cancel, buff, double tap first skill, weapon switch, first skill, VC, light charge attack, second skill, VC, first skill. Now, all the way, light charge attack, VC. Light charge attack, VC. Throw in a soaring spin between two sets of light charge attack. And then back to rinse and repeat. Just keep doing it. You can keep your left click down. VC. Like that. And then you see the buff is ending? Easy. When the buff is ending, switch back to Mo Blade. Buff up. And then first skill again. Switch again. Do the same thing. Second skill, VC, first skill again, and then back to light charge attack again. Every 2 light charge, do a soaring spin. Light charge, like so. You're seeing me doing infinite light charge because this is a new CN change. Whenever the boss is staggered, you get infinite no charge required. But that's pretty much it for the Heng Dao's rotation. Alright, now for Mo Blade. Mo Blade is very simple. Mo Blade, for your gear, mostly remains the same, except make sure you want to look out for all Mo Blade martial arts damage boost on your Mo Blade itself for your substats. Now, before I go through with the rotation, let me show you what are the changes if you go to Mo Blade. Remember how I said that whenever you use the second skill of your Heng Blade, you're going to give yourself 3 stacks of hot-blooded buff, like so? So 3 stacks down here. What this does is that it's going to make your Mo Blade charge 50% faster and it's going to consume a stack. Like that. See how fast it charges? So this is the sped up version. Without this, it's going to charge this fast. Like that. So it's going to have a bit of getting used to the charge speed to release it as fast as you can. And also another thing is that whenever you have the Heng Blade buff on, and then you have the Mo Blade Inner Way at level 4, it's not going to consume any resources when you have the 3 stacks. So basically it's 3 free charges. See the bottom right? It's not consuming any resource. Like so. And then when I don't have the buff anymore, it's going to consume 2 resources every time for a level 3 charge. If you don't have the Mo Blade Inner Way, you can only do up to level 2 charge, which is like this. It's yellow. Level 3 would be red. So always have the inner way on if you want to do big damage with Heng Blade. So the gist of your rotation, always use Heng Blade and apply your debuff and buff first. What I mean by this is always do skill 1, skill 2, followed by skill 1. So skill 1, skill 2, get the buff, skill 1 again, put the debuff on. And now you switch to Heng Blade and start spamming your charge attack. That's the idea. Now I've included the rotation on the screen. You can see that they're mostly identical. You go through 2 different cycles before repeating the whole thing again. So the first cycle includes 5 charge attacks, and then the second cycle has 4 charge attacks, and then you finish it off with using Flute plus a Soaring Spin or Leaping Frog, and then you repeat the whole thing again. So 5 charge attack, followed by 4 charge attack cycle, and then repeat 5 charge attack, 4 charge attack, repeat again, and repeat again. So let me demonstrate to you. First things first, buff on. Flute, parry cancel, switch to Heng Blade, skill 1, skill 2, skill 1, switch to Heng Blade, start charging. First charge, second charge, third charge, renew the buff, charge again. After this, first skill, and then 5th charge, we're gonna move to Heng Blade again. Heng Blade skill 1, skill 2, skill 1 again. Now, Heng Blade out, 3 charges. 1, 2, 3. Renew the buff. 4th charge. And then, first skill again. Now, Flute. Flute cancel. Soaring Spin. Heng Blade out. Skill 1. Skill 2. Skill 1. Heng Blade out. 3 charges. Renew buff. First skill. Heng Blade out. Skill 1. Skill 2. Skill 1. And then 3 charges. This is the 4 charge rotation. 3. Renew buff. 4th charge. Skill 1. Flute. Soaring Spin. Heng Blade, skill 1, skill 2, skill 1, and then back to 5 charge combo, and then you get the idea. Like so. Now you get the idea. There are pros and cons for Heng Blade and Heng Blade. For Heng Blade, it has really good tracking. I know that people have been saying, oh, it's the lowest damage right now in speed runs. But so what? That's like speed runs. Not many people do speed runs. In general PvE content, Heng Blade has impressive tracking, and also you get super armor while doing your varied combo attack. With good tracking, that also means that you get really good uptime. So whenever you get your buff and then you do this, when you do your varied combo, look, there's a bit of gap closer when I do it from here, okay? I do varied combo, I step back a bit, I do it from here. See how it moves me straight to the target? So it has really, really good tracking. Very, very good uptime. So what it lacks in damage relative to every other weapon, it makes up for it with uptime. Very, very good uptime with Heng Blade. So in a real setting, instead of fighting a dummy, when you're fighting a real boss, you can get impressive DPS out of it. Just like some of you guys who have been watching my streams when I do raids in with Heng Blade. Always one of the top DPS. So don't have to listen to the people that only like looks at tier lists and saying, oh no, it's the lowest, it's bad. Well, who cares, man? This is like the aura weapon. That's all that matters. Now, another important advice I can give you all, as soon as you learn how to play Heng Blade, you know how you get your varied combo prompt in the middle of the screen like this that tells you to press F, or you can also press R, your heavy attack, to activate it. Right now in global, there's already a setting for that. So you go to settings and you click on game, scroll all the way down and disable this option. Once you have it disabled, it's no longer gonna show the prompt on the screen. And at the same time, pressing F is not gonna trigger anything anymore. So what this means that is your F button is freed up, letting you loot items and also interact with anything during raids, instead of having the need to press away your varied combo first, and then you can press F. Back in the day, if you have that button on the screen, you always have to press your varied combo slash first. You always have to do this first, and then you can start interacting with objects. Now, with that button out of the way, your F is completely free. Your F is only used for interaction and also looting items. And then you only use your R key, your heavy attack button key, for varied combo. So it takes a bit getting used to. It's kind of easy to practice because now you know that every time you do this, you can always press R to do your varied combo. It's a good habit to have. Alright, I just queued a 5-man raid, so let me demonstrate to you in a typical co-op setting with pure Heng Blade build. Okay, as usual, opening with Flute. More blade buff. Switch Heng Blade out, start your rotation. So just keep doing varied combo. Like so. So right now, already top DPS. Anyway, the gimmick for this raid is that Talang jumps to the edge of the map. You need to block the exits and only leave one exit, basically guiding Talang back to the arena, back to the middle of the arena. It can get really frustrating sometimes when the players don't know what to do, when they block all the exits. So only block all the exits except for one path. You see how there's a green arrow over there, and then we have a X over here. So already blocked this path. It's going that way. Now it's back. Oh, gotta parry it sometimes. Okay. Okay, now back to killing it. Oh. There you go. So it's like really high uptime with Heng Blade. Now, last but not least, remember how you noticed that the parry sounds in some of my recordings are different? For example, this boss. See how it's like completely different from the one that I have on my skin? Tang, 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 tang. Like that? You don't have to worry. This is not a parry with the weapon. It's a new parry system with the boss. So the boss causes all of these parry to happen. It's not tied to the weapon. So even if I have my Heng Blade out like that, you see how I have the Heng Blade version of the parry? So just something to note with the parry changes. Like people were thinking like, oh, are the weapons doing parries like this? How come you don't sidestep anymore with the deflects? It's all from the boss. So it's a lot to look forward to with Where Winds Meet, where they make a lot of new bosses start parrying like this. You'll start seeing it in Liangzhou, which is the second act of Hesi. Lastly, when it comes to weapon skin, this is something you can look at if you want to go for maximum coolness. Like me, this is the Heng Blade's Harmonic Core skin at max rarity. Basically, these two. This is the blue version. This is the red version with its own design changes. This is just the blue version, but I made it purple. And then these are the shop skins. This is, I believe, 128. This is for 128. Flower Blade. And these are the normal looking skins. And then we also get chopsticks, $1 chopsticks, water blade. This one costs 2 jade sounds. And then more shop skins. Like so. Chopsticks ones are pretty meme. You get the chopstick, and then for Mo Blade, you also get a spoon for it. So you have a spoon and chopstick. Complete utensil. So chopstick and a spoon. Like so. Looks really funny when you do a charge attack with it. Exact. Yep. Next though. But yeah, anyway guys, that's the end of the Heng Blade walkthrough. Hopefully you've learned a lot and given you enough information to prepare for its release. I've tried teaching everything I know. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments or also share any tips that you personally may know. But yeah, hopefully this has been helpful to you. I'll see you guys in the next video. I also stream a lot of Where Winds Meet. Particularly, I'm maining a Heng Blade as well. So if you want to see more, you can also hop on stream and ask me any questions there. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.